I woke up from a 5-year coma to find my childhood best friend wearing my wedding ring. I opened my eyes. The bright hospital lights blinded me. I tried to speak. My thoughts felt like sandpaper. A doctor stood next to my bed. He had kind eyes and a warm smile.
Welcome back, Uju. I am Dr. Ade. You have been asleep for 5 years.
5 years. The words hit me hard. My hands flew to my stomach. It was completely flat. Panic gripped my chest.
My baby, where is my baby?
Dr. Ade looked down. His eyes held deep sorrow. He gently held my trembling hand.
I am so sorry, Uju. The crash was too severe. Your unborn baby did not survive.
5 years stolen. My baby gone. Dr. Ade rubbed my shoulder. He stayed with me while I fell apart. Then, the door handle clicked. I looked up. I expected my husband to rush in and hold me. Koby walked through the door. He did not look happy. He looked terrified. He stopped dead in his tracks. He was not alone. A woman walked in right behind him. She held the hand of a tall boy. It was my son, Asha. He had grown so much. I reached my arms out to him. Asha hid behind the woman's legs. I looked up at the woman. It was Linda, my childhood best friend. Linda did not run to hug me. She looked at Koby. She looked at me. A cold smile spread across her face. She stepped closer to Koby. She leaned in and kissed him right on the lips. Koby did not push her away. Linda raised her left hand to brush Koby's shirt. A massive diamond caught the hospital light. It was my custom wedding ring. She looked right into my eyes and whispered,
We thought you were never waking up, Uju.
Dr. Ade signed my discharge papers a week later. I was still too weak to walk. A nurse pushed me in a wheelchair to Koby's car. Koby barely spoke to me during the drive. He stared straight at the road.
Is everything okay, Koby? You seem distant.
Yeah, just glad you're awake now.
We arrived at our mansion. Koby wheeled me through the front doors. I looked around. Everything was different. The walls were painted a cold white. My beautiful family portraits were gone. Massive pictures of Linda and Koby hung in their place. Linda stood at the top of the stairs. She wore a silk robe. She walked down slowly. She looked at me like I was a beggar off the street. Take her to the back guest room, Linda ordered the maids. I grabbed the wheels of my chair. I looked up at Koby.
The guest room? Koby, this is my house. Our bedroom is upstairs.
Koby refused to meet my eyes. He shoved his hands in his pockets.
You need a quiet place to rest, Uju. Linda has everything set up for you. Be grateful she's helping us.
I felt a sharp pain in my chest. He was defending her. Linda smiled a wicked smile.
Yes, Uju. Rest well. I have a busy day tomorrow. I have to go to the bakery.
My blood ran cold.
What bakery are you talking about? Delight Treats, of course. Your business was failing after your crash. I stepped in. I am the CEO now.
She stole my husband. She stole my son. Now she had stolen my life's work. The maids pushed me into a dark, cramped room. They shut the door. I sat in the dark for hours. My throat felt dry. I needed water. I pushed the wheels of my chair with my weak arms. I slowly rolled myself down the quiet hallway. I reached the edge of the living room. I stopped. A soft light glowed from the lamps. Koby and Linda were on the couch. They were kissing deeply. Her hands were all over my husband. My breath caught in my throat. The sound made Koby open his eyes. He looked directly at me. I sat frozen in my wheelchair. I waited for him to jump up. I waited for him to push her away and apologize. He did not move. He kept his eyes locked on mine. He wrapped his arms around Linda's waist and pulled her closer. He continued to kiss her right in front of me. Linda strutted into my cramped room the next morning. She held a glass of water and 2 massive white pills.
Time for your meds, Uju. Dr. Ade sent these for your nerves.
I stared at the pills in her palm. My blood boiled. Before I left the hospital, Dr. Ade held my hand and gave me strict instructions.
Uju, I am only prescribing small red vitamins. Do not take anything else not in your prescription, okay?
I took Linda's white pills yesterday and woke up 14 hours later unable to speak or move my legs. She was trying to turn me into a vegetable. I forced a weak smile.
Thank you, Linda.
I placed the pills in my mouth and took a sip of water. I tilted my head back, pretending to swallow, but I tucked the pills deep into my cheek. Linda watched my throat closely. Satisfied, her sweet smile vanished into a cold sneer.
Rest up, Uju. You look absolutely terrible.
The second the door clicked shut, I spat the dissolving pills into a tissue and shoved them deep into my pocket. 2 hours later, shouting erupted downstairs.
Where is she? Where is my son's wife?
Heavy footsteps stomped down the hallway. My door flew open. Koby's mother stood there. She took one look at me in the wheelchair, shoved into a dark guest room, and burst into tears. She rushed over and pulled me into a fierce, bone-crushing hug.
My poor child, what have they done to you?
Koby and Linda appeared in the doorway. Koby's mother turned on them with absolute fury.
You put my daughter-in-law in a storage closet while this barren snake sleeps in her bed.
Linda flinched. The word barren hit her like a physical blow. Koby stepped forward.
Mama, please. Linda is my wife now. You have to treat her with respect.
She is nothing. None of your maids will touch Uju or my grandson. I am moving in and I will cook every meal they eat.
That night, the house was dead silent. Koby's mother slept on a small chair next to my bed. The door creaked open. A small shadow slipped into the room. It was Asha. My breath hitched.
Is that you, Asha?
He stood frozen, clutching his pajama shirt.
Mommy Linda says you are sick in the head. She says you want to hurt me.
Tears, hot and fast, spilled down my cheeks.
No, baby. Never. Do you remember the song I usually sing to you, Asha?
I softly hummed the lullaby I used to sing to him every night before the crash. Asha's big brown eyes widened. He took a step forward, then another.
That's the sleepy song.
He rushed forward and buried his face in my neck. I remember, Mommy.
I missed you so much, Mommy.
Thank you, Asha. Mommy loves you so much, baby.
Suddenly, the blinding overhead lights flicked on. Linda stood in the doorway. The fake sweetness was completely gone. Her face was twisted into pure, unhinged rage. Her eyes looked murderous.
Get away from my son.
I felt stronger every day. Spitting out Linda's poison worked. I ordered a taxi to Asha's school. I stood by the gates and waited. The afternoon sun was hot. The school bell rang. Children poured out into the yard. I saw him. Asha wore a crisp green and white school uniform. He ran toward me.
Mommy!
He threw his arms around my waist. A little girl in a matching uniform ran right beside him. A deep voice spoke from behind me.
Hello, Uju.
Daddy!
Hello, Dr. Ade.
You look much stronger today. It is good to see you out of that house.
Thank you, doctor.
Uju, please drop the formalities. Just call me Ade. And how is your health? I hope you've been taking your vitamins.
Yes, I have. Ever since I stopped taking those white pills, my mind feels clear again.
His eyes darkened with concern.
But I never prescribed any light pills for you.
I know those pills weren't from you, so I have stopped taking them.
You need to be strong for your little boy, Uju.
Before I could answer, a black SUV screeched to a halt at the curb. Linda jumped out. Her face was twisted with fake panic. She lunged forward and snatched Asha by his arm. Asha cried out in pain.
Let him go, Linda! Let him go, Linda!
Police sirens wailed down the street. A patrol car pulled up. Koby parked right behind them. Linda had called Koby and the police before she even arrived. 2 armed officers stepped out.
Help! This crazy woman is trying to steal my child!
No, that's not true.
Please believe me, I am his biological mother.
Ade stepped forward to defend me.
Officers, I am her doctor. She is perfectly sane. And she's that little boy's mother.
Koby walked up. He looked furious.
Koby, please tell them who I am. Tell them that I am Asha's mother.
Koby looked at me with cold eyes.
Please.
My wife is right. Uju is sick. Take her away before she hurts my family.
The officer grabbed my arms.
No,
The
please.
cold metal handcuffs
the right to
clicked
remain
around my
silent.
wrists.
Anything you say may be used against you in the court of law.
Mommy, do not take my mommy, please.
Asha, baby, mommy will be fine.
Koby put his arm around Linda. He turned his back on me and walked away with my crying son. The police locked me in a dark room. The floor was hard and cold. I sat in the corner and cried. Koby chose Linda. He watched them put handcuffs on his real wife. He let them take me away from my son. Hours passed in the quiet cell. The heavy metal door finally unlocked. An officer called my name.
Ujunwa, you are free to go. Someone paid your bail.
I walked out into the bright lobby. Ade stood by the front desk. He looked deeply worried.
I could not leave you here, Uju. Koby refused to pay your bail. He wanted you locked away.
Thank you, Ade. I appreciate this.
We left the station. Ade drove us to a quiet park away from the city noise.
Uju, what is going on? Are you sure you're okay?
I reached deep into my pocket. I pulled out a crumpled tissue. I opened it and placed the large white pills on the center console.
Linda makes me take these pills. She tells Koby you prescribe them for me.
Ade picked one up. His face turned pale. He looked at me with absolute horror.
Uju, I never prescribed these. These are heavy antipsychotics. She's giving you drugs meant to completely destroy your mind.
The shock hit my chest hard. My head began to spin. A sharp pain shot through my skull. Then the missing memory hit me. It rushed back in one violent wave. I remembered the day of the crash 5 years ago. I did not just lose control of my car. I was crying. I was driving away from Koby's company. I remembered walking into Koby's office that afternoon. I saw Koby. I saw Linda. They were together on his desk. I caught them having an affair.
Uju, baby, it's not what you think.
How could you do this to me? I trusted both of you and you decide to do this to me.
Oh, come off it, Uju. It's good you even know now.
I will make sure the both of you don't get away with this.
We fought bitterly. I ran to my car to escape them. I looked at Ade. My hands trembled violently. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place.
Ade, I remember now. Linda and my husband were already having an affair before my crash. It wasn't an accident. They planned it all.
Ade drove me back to the mansion. I knew Linda wanted me weak. I decided to give her exactly what she wanted. I dragged my feet through the front doors. I let my shoulders slump. Linda stood in the living room. She watched me with a victorious smirk. I kept my head down. I acted completely drugged and broken. Linda laughed softly. She thought she had won. But I knew they had an affair before my crash. I knew Linda was drugging me to make me crazy. I just needed time to figure out the rest. I played the perfect victim to buy that time. Across town, Koby's mother unlocked a dusty metal door. It was an old storage unit at Koby's office. It held past company records and security footage. She dug through heavy cardboard boxes. She threw old files on the floor. Then she opened a small grey box. She found a heavy backup drive. A white sticker sat on the front. The faded ink read, Office Parking Lot CCTV 2021. It was the footage from the day I caught Koby and Linda. It was the day of my crash. Her hands shook. She plugged the drive into her laptop. The grainy footage played. She saw my car. She saw a strange man walk up to it. The man slid under my car. He held a heavy tool. He tampered with the brakes. Koby's mother gasped. She covered her mouth in pure horror. She grabbed her phone and dialed my number. I sat on my bed. My phone buzzed. I answered it quickly.
Hello, Mama. Uju, I found a CCTV video of the day of your accident. Someone cut your brakes that day. I found the video among my son's things in his office. I think Linda might have something to do with this. I am bringing it to the house right now.
I held the phone to my ear. My heart hammered against my ribs.
Please, Mama, just hurry and be careful.
I told her to hurry. I ended the call. I heard a floorboard creak outside my bedroom door. I froze. I walked over and pulled the door open. Linda stood in the hallway. Her face was pale. Her eyes were wide with panic. She heard everything. She turned and ran toward the main staircase. 30 minutes later, the heavy front door swung open. Koby's mother stepped inside the mansion. She clutched the heavy backup drive tight in her right hand. Her eyes burned with pure rage. Linda blocked her path at the top of the long stairs. "Get out of my way," the older woman ordered. "What do you have in your hand?" Linda asked. Her voice shook with fear. Koby's mother marched up the steps. She stopped right in front of Linda.
You thought you were so smart. You thought you could just steal my son and erase Ujunwa. I am his wife now. You need to respect me. Respect you? You are a barren snake. You are a murderer. Shut up! You do not know anything. I know everything. I have the video from the office parking lot. I saw your brother tamper with Uju's brakes. You sent him. You killed my unborn grandchild, Linda.
Give that to me, Linda demanded. She reached out.
You are going to rot in prison. Koby will finally see the monster you are.
She looked Linda dead in the eyes and spat on her designer shoes. Linda lost her mind. Pure terror took over. She lunged forward. She shoved Koby's mother hard with both hands. The old woman screamed. She tumbled backward down the steep stairs. Her head struck the hard stone floor below. Her body went completely still. Linda stood at the top of the stairs. She breathed heavily. She stared down at the dead body. She smiled a twisted, relieved smile. She thought her secret was safe forever. She was completely unaware of the tiny blinking red light on the ceiling. The hallway security camera Koby installed 3 years ago captured every single second. I heard a loud, terrible crash. I ran out of my bedroom. I looked down the long staircase. Koby's mother lay twisted on the hard marble floor. Blood pooled around her head. My heart stopped. I could not breathe. I ran down the stairs as fast as my weak legs could move. I fell to my knees beside her. I grabbed her cold hands. "Mama," I cried out. "Please wake up, please." I sobbed violently over her body. She was the only one who fought for me. She was gone. Linda sat on the bottom step. She stared at me. She did not shed a single tear. The heavy front door burst open. Koby walked inside. He dropped his briefcase. He saw his mother and screamed. He ran over and fell to his knees in pure shock. "Mama, what happened?" Koby yelled. He grabbed his head in disbelief. Linda suddenly started wailing. She pointed a shaking finger at me. "She pushed her, Koby," Linda cried loudly. "Uju lost her mind. She screamed about her stolen life and shoved your mother down the steps."
No, she is lying. I was in my room. Linda killed her. You have to believe me, Koby.
Koby looked at me. His eyes held pure hatred.
You are completely crazy. My mother tried to help you and you killed her.
He did not ask for my side of the story. He pulled out his phone and called the police.
Hello, police.
Sirens wailed outside our mansion a few minutes later. 2 armed officers rushed inside. Koby grabbed my arm violently. He threw me toward the police.
She killed my mother. Lock her up for life.
He dragged me out the door. I looked back at Linda. She wiped a fake tear from her cheek and smiled a wicked smile. The police threw me into a cold interrogation room. I sat alone at a metal table. My life was officially over. I faced a life sentence for murder. I put my head in my hands and sobbed. Then, the heavy metal door swung open. Dr. Abe walked into the room. A tall lawyer in a sharp grey suit stood right behind him. Ade rushed to my side. He placed a warm hand on my shoulder.
Do not say a word, Uju.
The lead detective walked in. He placed a thick file on the table.
Your client murdered her mother-in-law. We have an eyewitness.
The lawyer smiled a confident smile. He pulled a tablet from his briefcase. He placed it flat on the table.
You arrested the wrong woman, detective. My team pulled this from the Mansion Cloud server.
He pressed play. It was the footage from the hallway security camera. Koby installed it 3 years ago. Linda never knew it existed. The screen showed Linda at the top of the stairs. It showed her shoving the old woman with both hands. It captured her wicked smile. The detective nodded.
We know about this. Linda made a massive mistake. She didn't know about the CCTV in the house.
He paused and unlocked my handcuffs. I rubbed my sore wrists, feeling relieved that I'd been vindicated. The detective looked at me.
We found something else. My officers searched the victim. They found a small flash drive hidden deep inside her wrapper.
He pulled a plastic evidence bag from his pocket. A silver flash drive sat inside. I sighed in relief. Mama was smart. She kept the drive. The detective plugged the flash drive into his laptop. He turned the screen toward us. The grainy footage played. I saw my car in the office parking lot. I saw a man slide under my car. I watched him cut my brakes. The detective paused the video on the man's face. "Do you know this man?" he asked. I stared at the screen. I recognized his face immediately. I felt sick to my stomach.
Yes, that is Linda's brother, John. Linda must have sent him to kill me.
Dr. Ade unlocked his front door. He ushered me inside his quiet home. I finally breathed. The police released me in secret. Koby and Linda thought I was rotting in a cold cell. We let them believe it. At the station, the lead detective kept his promise. His men tracked down Linda's brother, John. They dragged him into a dark room and pushed him to his limit for days. John finally broke. He threw his phone on the metal table. He showed the detective the bank transfers and their chats. The screen proved Linda paid him to cut my brakes.
Detective, the proof is on this phone. Look at the transfers. It's all there.
Back at the mansion, Koby sat in the dark. He stared at a photo of his dead mother. He mourned her. Linda walked up behind him and rubbed his shoulders. She played the perfect loving partner.
We have to continue on. The board is panicking. We need to take full control of Uju's shares today.
She convinced him to throw a massive corporate event. Few days later, the grand hall was packed. Wealthy investors drank champagne. Koby stepped up to the grand stage. Linda stood beside him in a sparkling gown. She was ready for Koby to name her the new vice president of the company and my bakery. Dr. Ade opened a heavy side door at the back of the venue. He held my hand and pulled me inside. We slipped past the busy event staff. We climbed a dark staircase and entered the audiovisual control room. A massive soundboard sat in front of a glass window overlooking the grand hall. I looked down at the crowd. My heart pounded in my chest. I saw Koby on the stage with Linda. I saw my son, Asha, sitting in the front row. He looked sad and lost. My heart ached for my boy, but I knew I had to settle this to protect him. Linda picked up a microphone. She dabbed her dry eyes with a silk tissue.
Thank you all for coming.
Her voice shook with fake sadness.
We have survived so much tragedy this week. We lost a mother, but our love and unity will always overcome the darkness.
She squeezed Koby's hand and gave him a small, encouraging smile. Koby firmed up. His voice echoed through the speakers.
As we all know, my wife Uju has been unwell. Her mental health has declined since she woke from the coma. It is with great pain I announce that she is mentally unfit and currently in jail. She can no longer hold her position.
He glanced at Linda, who smiled proudly.
Thus, as Chief Executive Officer and President,
I gripped the metal lever tight.
I hereby name Linda as the new
I pulled it down hard.
Vice President.
The entire building went pitch black and quiet. The grand hall filled with gasps and whispers. In the total darkness, Koby called for security. Linda's voice was high and shrill, demanding someone fix the power. I waited for the backup generators. They were wired to the audio-visual system first. Suddenly, the massive LED screens behind the stage flickered to life. They showed a cold, grey interrogation room. The crowd went silent. Koby and Linda turned around, staring up at the giant screen. John's face filled the display. He was crying.
Linda paid me. My own sister. She gave me $2 million to cut Uju's brakes. She also paid me to get the antipsychotic drugs illegally. She wanted to drive Uju crazy so she could take the company.
The guests gasped. I saw Linda stumble back, but I wasn't done. I swept the tablet in my hand and the video changed. The mansion hallway appeared. The footage was crystal clear. The crowd watched as Linda lunged forward and shoved Koby's mother down the stairs. Koby froze. He stared at the screen in absolute bone-chilling shock. He watched his mother tumble down the steps. He heard the sickening thud as she hit the floor. He saw Linda's twisted, relieved smile. Koby backed away from Linda as if she were a ghost.
You killed her?
It's a lie! It's fake!
The house lights slammed back on. I stepped out onto the balcony of the control room.
It's over, Linda.
My voice was cold and steady. The heavy doors at the back of the hall burst open. The lead detective marched in with a dozen officers. They headed straight for the stage. The officers reached the stage. They grabbed Linda's arms. She struggled, kicking and screaming like a trapped animal.
Get off me! Koby, tell them I'm innocent!
Koby stood frozen. He looked at her with a face full of disgust.
I never knew you were this sick, Linda. You killed my mother. You tried to kill my wife. I hope you've never seen the light of day.
Linda stopped struggling. She went cold and quiet.
You're a liar, Koby! You knew everything, Koby. You heard me hide the office CCTV in the storage units. You were the one who told me Uju was starting to ask too many questions about the company funds.
Koby's face turned grey.
She's lying. She's hallucinating.
Am I lying, Koby?
Koby stepped away from her.
I had no idea. I loved this woman, but she is a monster. She took my mother from me. She destroyed my home. She's a whore.
I'm a whore? Coming from you, that's so rich. You've loved me since before you even met Uju. We planned this together, Koby. We've been together for 10 whole years, Koby.
The crowd gasped. Koby's face went white. I froze upon hearing this, but Linda wasn't done.
Your marriage with Uju was a business deal. You told me you would marry the CEO's daughter, wait for the old man to die, and then we would own everything. You were one who told me Uju was looking into the missing company funds. You told me she had to go. He didn't just hide the footage. He watched the video of the crash a dozen times to make sure she was dead. He only played the grieving husband because she survived. So you all see that Koby is just as guilty as I am.
Koby fell to his knees. He didn't look at Linda. He looked at me. He crawled toward the edge of the stage, his hands reaching out.
Uju, please, I was weak. She manipulated me. Think of Asha. Our son needs his father. You can't let them take me. I'm the only father he knows. Asha, tell your mother. Tell her you need me.
My son needs a father, not a murderer.
The handcuffs clicked over Koby's expensive watch. The officers dragged them both off the stage. Linda was still laughing. Koby was still begging. I stood alone under the spotlight. I was shocked and numb. I still couldn't believe the man I loved and gave my whole life to had been working with my best friend to ruin me. But I was no longer the broken wife. I'm not going to let them win over me.
Leave me alone, I am innocent! No, I can't go to jail!
My sister, you're under arrest.
I watched through the glass as the police pushed Koby and Linda into the back of a van. Linda's designer gown was torn, her face a mask of silent rage. Koby was a shell. I stepped back and pulled Asha behind me. I didn't want the last thing my son remembered of his father to be a man in chains.
Mommy, are we going to see Daddy again?
Maybe one day, my love, but right now, just know that I love you more than anything. I am never, ever going to let anyone take you away from me again. I promise.
5 years later, the sun shines differently now. It's softer, warmer. It doesn't feel like a spotlight anymore. It feels like a blessing. 5 years have passed since the heavy doors of the federal prison closed behind them. Linda is serving 45 years for what she did to Koby's mother. Koby was handed 20 years for the fraud and the lies. Even John, Linda's brother, is serving his final month of a 5-year sentence for his role. They wanted my company, they wanted my life, but they ended up with 4 grey walls. My father's company is now the largest in the country. I am no longer just a daughter or a wife, I am the CEO who survived. But my greatest victory isn't in a boardroom, it's in my home. Ade never left my side. He helped me learn to trust again. I felt like I knew him from forever. I loved him. He was always there for me. A year ago, we married in a small ceremony by the sea, with the waves as our only witness and the salt air carrying our vows. I stood in the nursery today, hanging a small mobile of golden stars over the crib. I am 6 months pregnant with our first child together. Asha, now a tall, confident boy, ran into the room with Elsie, Ade's daughter. They were laughing, arguing over names for the baby.
Elsie, I can't wait to have a little brother or sister. Me too, Asher.
Ade walked in behind them. He wrapped his arms around my waist and rested his chin on my shoulder, his hands gently covering mine on my growing belly. I could feel the warmth of his skin and the sincerity in his touch.
Everything is exactly where it belongs now, Uju.
I turned in his arms and looked at the family we built from the ashes of my old life.
We finally have our true family. The betrayal of a best friend and the lies of a husband almost broke me, but they couldn't bury me.
The wind blew through the open window, carrying the scent of jasmine and the sound of the children's laughter from the hallway. For the first time, my heart didn't feel heavy with the weight of the past. It felt light with the promise of the future. I leaned my head against Ade's chest, listening to his steady, calm heartbeat. The shadows were finally gone. I wasn't just surviving anymore. For the first time in my life, I was actually living. I smiled, feeling the baby kick for the first time.
Yes. Everything is exactly where it should be.